Hey, hello. Excuse me. Man, had a frog in my throat or something. Can we start over? No, we can't. We gotta go. But we're not even live today. We could start and restart the program. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, fine. Here we go. This is Pastor's Perspective, sponsored by Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. I'm Brian Perez. Thank you for joining us. And yes, as I said, we are not live today, so don't call us if you have a question if you're listening on the radio. But if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube on Thursday the 30th, you can call us until 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we've got the number right there on the bottom of your screen. And answering your questions today, we've got Brian Brodersen, the senior pastor of Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa in Southern California. Bobby Conway is joining us via the Bobby Cam from Charlotte, North Carolina, where he pastors Image Church. And you can find out more about his church at imagechurch.live. You can watch archived services there. Check that out. And Phil Metzger is here as well. Well, not here physically in the studio with us today, unfortunately, but he is on Skype. Phil is the pastor of Calvary San Diego. Hello, gentlemen. Thanks for coming in today. Or being on, because some of you didn't come in, but you're on.
Well,
but let's not get technical.
Yeah, we're delighted to be here all together. Phil, I got to say that right now, you look like your emoji. You know your emoji on your that comes up on the phone. You look like that right now.
Could it be that we're talking to AI Phil Metzger? Then maybe this isn't really Phil.
I know, right?
You'll never know. You won't really know because my emoji is a white guy with white hair, and that is the perfect description of me. It really is. It's
I've got to pull up this thing and show these guys how unbelievably.
Yeah, I've seen it. It is pretty. Yeah, it looks just like
me. I did a pretty good job.
I've seen it too.
I think I nailed it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I
find it. Hold it up to the camera, though. Hold it up to the camera so people can see it.
Mine.
I thought Brian had.
Oh well, since all you guys saw it, I thought.
Oh, well, I thought you meant you were going to show it to them.
I'll do it.
The masses on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. Now mine, I have one of those too. But mine looks more like Bobby than like me.
Yeah. Brian's emoji is like those guys have the book picture that's like from 30 years earlier, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, mine is strikingly too realistic. Once they can put an emoji over this, I should definitely do that. That would be really fun.
There's technology. I'm sure we can make it happen.
I just saw it, and man, it looks. Wow.
But will the answers be as heartfelt as from the emoji? We don't know. All right, so let's go to the phones now. Answer some questions here that we've got from our people, and if Pastor Brian can find that picture, we'll put it up later. But
gosh, it won't. Yeah, the picture won't come up. It just. I can't find it. Phil can find it. It's right on his phone. He can just.
You would think
he could just flash it on the screen.
Well, my phone is my camera.
Oh, okay. No, don't touch it then. We'll figure something out.
What you're doing?
I will find a way. Forget it. I'm finding a way.
You're doing this. You're doing this show on your phone.
So I have my computer. Look I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to let you all see. I have this on my phone.
Oh.
It's this is my phone here. I don't know how to do this. You see?
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Behind the scenes of Pastor's Perspective.
Welcome to the future, dudes.
It's pretty high tech,
That's right.
Man. Woo! You know what? My computer doesn't have my camera has my phone camera has a better camera, so I figured why not use that one?
Well, we appreciate your commitment to high tech.
Yes.
It's not. It just makes me look like an emoji, so that's not great.
We'll talk about that later. All right, let's go to the phones now on this pre-recorded Pastor's Perspective and start with Malachi and Corona. Welcome to the program, Malachi. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How's it going?
Not bad at all. Always great hearing from you.
All right. Always good. Thank you for taking my call, Pastor. It's flu season. Glad to see everybody's well.
You're okay, right?
I hope everybody's I'm kind of catching a little sore throat, but
no.
Taking a lot of medicine.
Zinc up.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my question is, how can us as believers stand firm in times of trouble?
Now, describe what you mean by times of trouble exactly, because that might mean different things to different people.
Okay, yeah. So to be more specific, I recently, so my car had broke down recently on my way to see family during Thanksgiving. So for a couple of days, this happened like right after I gave my testimony. So I gave my testimony on Instagram. And as soon as that happened, the next day, my car broke down. So it was definitely some spiritual action going on, I could tell. The enemy was trying to stop me. And it's a test of my faith. And unfortunately, I fell into temptation, to be completely transparent. And so I was wondering, I'm trying to learn the lesson of not falling into the aspect when times are in trouble.
Okay, Bobby Conway, we'll start with you on this one. What do you tell Malachi?
Yeah, I mean, when life gets hard, it's easy for us to look for God substitutes, and that happens to all of us at times. And so what we want to do is, realize that trials are just a natural part of living. And, sometimes it's not even really spiritual warfare. It's just living in a fallen world. Like non-believers, cars break down as well. But what can happen is the Lord can use these type of things that are trials, for the non-believer, but for the believer, they can become opportunities for us to experience growth and dependency and trusting in Him. And, I would just say one thing that can be really, really helpful, and Pastor Brian has modeled this really wonderfully to me, it's just stepping back and going, hey, God is sovereign. And if He's sovereign, He knows about the car being broken down. He's not panicking. He knows your needs. And I think a lot of our trials that come into our life as a result of circumstances and stuff can be assuaged by just resting in His sovereignty, of just learning that, He's in like if I'm going to freak out and panic, what does that say about my belief about God being sovereign and in control? So trusting in His sovereignty is a big thing.
Phil Metzger? Phil, are you there? We can't hear you. We can't hear
Apologies
Phil. There he is. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, here I am. Yeah. I want to say that was so good, Bobby. Thank you for that. And I was also, maybe I can take a little bit of a little more harder approach to you here, Malachi, just to say a couple things here. Receive it for what it is worth. You called in, you're looking for some support on this. I think we also have to sometimes acknowledge that we're looking for opportunities to give in. And I'm not saying that necessarily that's what you're doing, but I found that in a lot of times in my own heart. Like if I have a good day, I feel like it gives me license to kind of, I'm a little bit more flexible with my own heart, my own emotions, my own, or I had a bad day, so it gives me license. I think there's something in human nature we need to understand, that it's not just that we're like, we bad things happen and then we fall into sin, but sometimes we're looking at the circumstances of our lives as an excuse to either
That's pretty corrupt, Phil.
give in. What'd you say?
I said that's pretty corrupt.
It is.
I'm giving you a hard time, bro.
No, it is. And I'm the only one on the panel that is like this. So
Yeah, that's right.
But I think
that's for sure.
Honestly, like we should consider that like, okay, yeah, those bad things happen. You had some bad circumstances, your tire, those are bummers. Those are serious bummers. But then there is something in the human heart that's like, oh, I could use this for my own advantage. And we have to sometimes be aware of that.
God didn't
catch
have my
ourselves and say, right. And that I believe in a God who is he's so loving and He's so powerful, and the Holy Spirit in you is able to keep you. So no circumstance will overcome you, except that we allow, really, in the end. And so let's start looking to gird up our mind and our heart against looking for excuses. Let's not let anything become an excuse for me to give into my own inclinations. That's really what I'm trying to say there.
Malachi, does this help you?
Yeah, thank you so much, pastors. Yeah, it is. Yeah, in times of trouble, I kind of tend to. Well, it's because I was feeling like alone because of my car, and so I seek the wrong attention and got the wrong results, and so I'm just repenting about it and in that.
Yeah. Well, that's good, and thank God we can repent and we can confess our sin, and He's faithful and just to forgive us. But we need to, like Bobby and Phil are both saying, not let these kind of circumstances rattle us. I mean, everybody here will agree that your car breaking down is no fun,
especially before the holidays.
Yes, it's a drag. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing that could happen to you. And so sometimes you just have to go with the flow. We recently around our house, we've had just one crazy little mishap after another. Sunday morning, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before, I'm getting ready to come and preach, and I'm taking a shower, and the next thing I know, I hear Cheryl screaming, and it's because the water from my shower is coming through the light fixture in the kitchen, and that's not a good thing on any day. But it's really not a good thing on Sunday morning at 6:30 a.m. So, but in those little kinds of things, you're just like this stuff is so annoying. But it is just life, and it's really quite minimal compared to what. There are real trials out there that people go through, right? These are just little petty annoyances. So, don't let that stuff bother you. Just kind of, okay, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Malachi, thanks for calling us today here on Pastor's Perspective. Bobby, did you have another thought? I can't tell.
The only thought I would say is I do think sometimes I've wondered, it's the small trials that I think are even easier to respond worse to than the big ones. It's like when somebody finds out they've got cancer, it's like a lot of times it's game on. It's like, okay, I've got to shine for the Lord. You recognize like that this is a moment I've got to really lean in. It's not even a negotiation. But when you get cut off on the freeway or when the car breaks down it's the smaller things where I feel like it's easy to get sideways. And I don't know what it is about that, but I've seen people who they can't handle, a cold shower, but they can get terminal cancer and shine for the glory of God. That is a mystery that boggles the brain for me. For sure.
By the way, Pastor Brian found the Phil Metzger emoji. I don't know if we can zoom in on that there.
I texted
actually.
He sent it.
Phil sent it. Yeah. My only comment, Phil, is you need to update with your glasses, so you can go in and you can fix the emoji. You can put glasses on your emoji. So I'm recommending.
It's just I only wear the glasses when I'm reading on the screen. Other than that, I don't really wear them.
Okay. Well, this is
true to me. Right?
Like
this is you. I mean, look at this.
Look at so funny.
Yeah.
This is like authentic Metzger right here.
Nailed it.
It's AI.
I'll show you mine in a minute. Mine's great. Bobby, yours is good too.
Most people lie about that. Dang it! I should have lied about it, I guess.
All right, let's talk now to Carrie in Fullerton, California. Welcome to Pastor's Perspective, Carrie.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I once heard that the Bible could be compared to the tree of life as the tree of life with Adam and Eve, being it be the book of knowledge and a tree of life. What do you guys say about that?
Okay. Bobby Conway, what do you think?
I would say no. I wouldn't see the Bible being compared to that as it relates to, especially as it relates to the knowledge of good and evil as a tree. But that's because, they weren't supposed to take of that, right? And so when it comes to the word, what are we told? Take and eat. So we're told to consume the word of God, but we're told to stay away from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And so even as it relates to the tree of life, we have to remember that the Bible that we have before us with the 66 books tells the story that would unfold after the tree of life. So if we were to say that the tree of life, for example, was the Bible, then that would mean that the stories of the Bible were in the tree of life, but the stories of the Bible haven't happened yet. So the tree of life's there. And so that would just kind of be reading something more into it. I think at the end of the day, there was just this tree that they were to nourish, and that would just have given them longevity, and they could have lived forever had they not sinned. And the tree of knowledge of evil was the opposite. If they eat that, then they're not going to live forever. And there's no sense in eating off the tree of life, because in the day you eat of it, you will die. Now, they didn't die on that day physically. They died spiritually, but they began to die physically because they could no longer eat from the tree of life.
Does this help you, Carrie?
Yes, it sure did. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for calling us today on Pastor's Perspective. Brian Perez here with Brian Broderson, Bobby Conway, and Phil Metzger. We are not live if you're listening on the radio, so don't call us today. Write down your question so you don't forget it, and then call us next chance you get. Here's Edgar calling in from California. What's going on, Edgar?
Hi, good evening. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
So I have 3 questions, actually. I'm a fairly new believer. I just gave my life to Christ this year, so I'm still struggling with sin and learning.
Well, let me just say that is a great that's great news, Edgar. We're really glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's beautiful news, actually. I just recently was suffering from depression for a few months, and thanks to God, I was taking medication too, antidepressants, and then one day I just asked God to just give me the strength to beat it, and He actually did. And after that, I just stopped taking. I never took medication after that.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
So that's
good.
So that's my testimony.
You're feeling good.
Yeah, actually, I've been struggling here and there sometimes, but God is always by my side, so He helps me out through it sometimes. Most of the time,
yeah.
Sometimes it's just myself, lacking in reading His Word. And but my question is, I've recently found this book by Mary Baker Eddy. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about her.
Oh yeah. She's the leader. She's the founder of a cult called Christian Science.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was. I went to Palm Springs this past weekend, and it was my 33rd birthday.
Well, happy birthday!
At first, thank you. At first, I thought it was a gift from God, but there was another coworker that she told me about that it's not really. I just don't want to be led astray, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, just get rid of that book because that book is full of
5 or 6 books.
Yeah, that book is just full of misinformation, wrong teaching. Very, very well-known cult leader back in the early part of the 20th century.
Do you own any birds, Edgar?
Any birds?
Yeah. Because you can use the pages to line the bottom of the bird cage. I'm just saying. So.
Oh my goodness.
That's a good one. Actually, I do have some birds.
Oh no.
But my second question is, one of my coworkers actually told me about this. Since I'm a new believer, I've been struggling with sin a lot. Mostly about my past as well. I've had a really dark past, suicide and just different things, alcoholism and just different types of things. And he told me that there's some churches that offer counseling, but I forget what it was called, like EOS, or it's some sort of acronym. I'm not sure if you guys can help me out with that. Celebrate
Recovery comes to mind, but...
I'm a
I guess they-
big believer in Celebrate Recovery. It's a great ministry.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that ministry, Celebrate Recovery. Brian Perez mentioned it. That's a great ministry for people that have and are struggling with addictions of so many different types. I can't think of the acronym that you're thinking of. I don't know. Maybe one of the other guys does. But Celebrate Recovery is a great ministry to look into.
Well, I'm not really like on how would I call it, drug abuse or alcohol abuse anymore. But it was mostly just to talk about like my life, my past experiences in my life, kind of like counseling, I think.
Yeah.
That's what he was telling me about.
Are you plugged into a church consistently?
Not consistently, but I do. Was going to one right here in Fontana, California, called Water of Life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, this is a real important thing, is to really, really plug into a fellowship and become part of that. And you'll find that counseling and things like that, you know, that counseling is helpful at times, and it's available oftentimes through your local church. But you'll find too, just being with other believers is there is a way where God uses other believers to counsel us. Sometimes they don't even know they're doing it. They're just speaking to us about life and God's speaking through them. So the more you can connect yourself with other believers, the more you're going to progress in your maturity as a Christian.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And my last question is about the Book of Enoch, and how come it's like so negatively talked about?
Well, that's why
I haven't read it myself.
Yeah, that's why Dr. Bobby Conway is here today to talk very specifically about one of his favorite books, the Book of Enoch.
It's because Mary Baker Eddy wrote it, right? That's why we're always talking
right.
about it. No, I'm joking. What's wrong with the Book of Enoch, Bobby?
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a lot that's right about the Book of Enoch. You know, it's part of the Apocrypha. You know, this isn't a part of the Protestant canon, the 66-book Bible. You will see it in the Roman Catholic, edition. But even so, it wasn't considered part of the canon until much later. So when it comes to the Book of Enoch, I think that there's information that we can gain from the history of it, like we can with the Book of Maccabees and the Maccabean revolt against Antiochus Epiphanes. But we can also learn a lot from Enoch. In particular, I think it can flesh out some of the detail and some of the missing context in Genesis 6 in verses 1-8, as it refers to the sons of God and daughters of men, where we can learn about some of the giants. And so you kind of get this this post-mortem look at the life of Enoch. Enoch walked with God, God took him, but then you can see kind of what he's doing in his journeying, and there's a lot to be gleaned, and it makes you wonder if there's some good stuff that we can say this is legit, but we don't have to say it needs to be in the Bible. So I think the reason why pastors might not talk about it as much is you can spend your entire ministry preaching the Bible, and you'll be lucky just to get through the Bible. Most pastors will never get through the entire Bible in their preaching ministry. So, you just kind of go, look, my job's to teach the Bible, and the Enoch's not considered part of the Bible. So why take time to teach these particular books if I'm not, going to have the time in my life ministry to teach the Bible? So what you do then is, as a pastor, if you're teaching, on the life of Antiochus Epiphanes, and you're in the scriptures and you come across, some kind of a story in the book of Daniel, and you want to talk about how the Greeks fall, and you want to bring out some of that history, well, you can go to Maccabees and see some detail to flesh out. Or if you're looking in Genesis 6, you can bring out some of the detail on the giants and say, some say that the book of Enoch can give us a good history here. Others aren't quite content to lock into this as a backdrop narrative for filling out our understanding of the story, but it does provide a context for us to consider. That's what I would say.
Edgar, thank you for calling us today here on Pastor's Perspective. Great hearing from you on this pre-recorded episode of the program. I'm Brian Perez here with Brian Broderson, Bobby Conway, and Phil Metzger.
Bobby, what's the date? I can't remember the date, approximate date of the writing of Enoch.
I would say that it is around...
it's intertestament.
300 BC.
300 BC.
300
Yeah,
BC.
300 BC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. And was it included in the Septuagint? I would think it probably would have been. Or was it not?
It was rejected by the Jewish canon.
Yeah, the Jewish canon rejected it, but I think maybe the Greek, because the Septuagint did include the Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hebrew Tanakh did not include it. I know that. I don't know about the Septuagint.
Yeah, and I'm looking in the Septuagint right now, and I don't see it included. It does have Jubilees, Maccabees, for
That's it. That's interesting.
But
because I don't think it's in the Catholic Bible either. So I wonder if it was not even considered part of the actual apocryphal books. That it's that genre, but it wasn't.
Here's a fun fact that the Ethiopian and the Eritrean, the Orthodox Church includes it.
Is that right?
In Ethiopia and Eritrea, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, which is interesting as well. I'm looking at the Catholic Bible, and you're right. I don't see that there. So the book of Enoch, I just read that book a few months ago.
Yeah, I remember. That's why
I had my info all fresh.
Yeah.
But what list is it in? And we'll see if we can find something here. It's Hebrew apocalyptic literature.
Right, yeah.
That's what it says. But I guess, obviously all of the Hebrew apocalyptic literature doesn't make it into the Catholic Apocrypha. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting.
There you have it.
There you have it.
Yep.
Very good. All right. 888. Nope. 88, not 888. Nope. We're not live today. Don't call us. We don't. We're not taking any calls if you're listening on the radio. But if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube on Thursday, November 30th, you can call us until 5 p.m. Pacific time. We welcome your call. We've got one open line right now, so you're welcome to take it if you've got a question for either Brian Broderson or Bobby Conway or Phil Metzger. Phil Metzger, what is your church doing for Christmas? What kind of services do you have planned?
We're remodeling our room, so we're kind of in like in between spaces. So we're going to be outside for Christmas. It is San Diego after all, and we have a nice big kind of field area. I know. I was just kind of rubbing that in. I just wanted to say that the three of us will be.
Thank you.
The four here will be. I think it'll be 72 degrees on that day. By the way, just to rub.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Keep going, Phil.
Yeah, Bobby, you gave us a weather forecast on Thursday's first hour. What did you say that the night's low was going to be what?
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You guys are cruel.
20-degree temperature, man. No, thank you. All right, going to take a break now. Go ahead, Phil.
I'm just going to say I do miss the seasons. I miss a little bit of cold and snow and Christmassy. I do.
You kind of do need a little bit of cold, but not overly cold. Not 20 degrees cold.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back with more of your questions. If you're on hold right now, stay on hold. Don't hang up. Going to take a little break, and then we'll answer some more of your questions here on the Pastor's Perspective program. We're here till 5 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, the 30th of November, so give us a call. The number is right there on the bottom of your screen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Pastor's Perspective. I'm Brian Perez, and we're not live today, so don't call us with your questions unless you're watching on Facebook or YouTube on Thursday, the 30th of November. Then you can call us until 5 p.m. Pacific time. The number's right there on the bottom of your screen. And we've got Brian Broderson, Bobby Conway, and Phil Metzger here to answer your questions. I think Brian wanted to make one more comment about Enoch because he found out some information before we go to our next call. What'd you find, Brian?
Well, Deloy just handed me a Bible, the HarperCollins Study Bible, with both the Apocrypha and the Deuterocanonical books, and Enoch is not to be found in either list.
Without a trace.
Interesting.
Muy
But
interesante.
I do have a picture to show everybody of myself.
Ah.
But now when I see Bobby's, I realize we are different.
I sent yours too, Bobby, to
Yeah.
Brian. I sent them all over.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay. I gotta
Bobby's got the spike thing going.
Yeah, I got to get a little more gray. I got to update mine because I'm just turning flat gray.
Yeah, that's
You know?
that's 5 years
Eesh.
old right there, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that is 5 years old.
Yeah, I got to get a
Man.
few more wrinkles and lines in my face on this one. I'm looking way too young, but I got the
Baby
silver.
face Broderson. That's what we have there on the screen. All right, let's go to the phones here. Daniel in Los Angeles. Welcome to Pastor's Perspective.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to talk to you guys.
Likewise.
Let's say I was Jewish and I believed in Jesus Christ. Would I be able to live in Israel?
Yes, there are lots of Jews who believe in Jesus who live in Israel. They do have limited privileges in some cases. For example, I know two Jewish believers who believe in Jesus who could not get married in Israel legally because the rabbis would not acknowledge that as a legitimate marriage because they're believers in Jesus. So they had to actually go out of the country. Many believing Jews do this. They go to Cyprus and they have to get married in Cyprus. If you were a Jewish person and you wanted to make aliyah, which it means that you go to become a citizen of Israel, there's a good chance you could be turned down. I have another very good friend who took them 3 or 4 years to finally get through a process that should have taken just a few months. And it was government pushback all the way, trying to prevent them from getting citizenship specifically because of their faith in Jesus. So, yeah, that's a real thing.
I heard from two pastors that I hear on the radio, and they, one, the Jewish Jesus, and the other one's, he's he's on the radio too. I don't know, I forgot his name. But they both tried, they were both told that you believe in Jesus and we don't even consider you a Jew.
Yeah.
We don't consider you a Jew if you believe in Jesus. And, that's hard for a Jewish person, I guess, to take.
Yeah, it is an interesting phenomena that you could be a Buddhist Jew, you can be a Hindu Jew, you can be an atheist Jew.
Wow.
You can be pretty much any kind of Jew except a Jesus Jew. That's the one that
that is interesting.
they don't like. Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder though if that. I know on the level of Israelis who are believers who live in the land, this is more of a government thing, and it's really more related to the fact that there's a faction of the government that is ultra orthodox. They're the ones that are always doing this sort of stuff, so they're behind it. That's when you get a more liberal government to power in Israel, then that goes away. So it's really the strict religious guys who are the ones who are still. I mean, they're kind of like they are the descendants of the Pharisees, and they're acting pretty much just like the Pharisees acted in the early days of the church. So.
Wow. Phil Metzger?
I was going to say too, I think for a lot of them that live there, people born there, raised there, they served in the military. There's some level of like credibility as Israelis, where it's harder when you're like a foreigner, as Brian mentioned, wanting to immigrate to Israel. I think there's a stigma there for sure, like even more so, and that makes it a lot harder.
American Jews.
Those that were born and raised there, went to school there, served their time in the military, there's a little bit more acceptance in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Daniel?
Well, if I came from America, let's say, if I'm a foreigner, of course I'd be a foreigner if I was an American Jew and wanted to go to Israel and live there.
Yeah.
That would be a foreigner to them, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you thinking of making the move? Is that why you're asking?
No, I'm just surprised. I wanted to be sure. Like if I told people you cannot be Christian and live in Israel if you're a Jewish person, and I get looks sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that you can't live there. It's that coming from the outside, it's very difficult. It is possible, but it is very difficult to get citizenship if you're coming from the outside of the country. So, Jews live all over the world, right? So let's just say a Jew decides, I want to move to Israel, and yet they're believers. It can be a challenge. So it's not impossible. I just told you about my friends who actually, made it through Aliyah, but it was a much longer process than it should have been. And actually one government official finally stepped in and warned the government department that was keeping them out that if they didn't stop doing that they were going to end up being in trouble. So there's a division in the government over this as well. But we have a friend named Joel Rosenberg who is also a Jewish believer, and he made Aliyah, and his entrance into the country was not dramatic like the other couple that I was describing. So Joel, I think, had fairly easy access into citizenship in the country. So it kind of varies from person to person. And like I said, it varies from government to government too. If the government changes over and the hard right Orthodox guys are no longer having the influence, then this thing kind of goes away. But like you're saying, Phil, if you there's plenty of Israelis who, we have a bunch of friends who are believers in Jesus, and they're Israelis. They're born and raised in Israel. And they get by fine. They don't have problems really. I mean, a little bit of prejudice here and there, but not hugely. Yeah.
And I would say too, like, if for a person, so that's why I wouldn't make the blanket statement like Christians can't move to Israel. That's not true.
Yeah.
It's
Gentile Christians
also
can
like,
move to Israel too.
Right. And also, but think about things like, they're also like looking at like, you're a business owner and you're going to open a business there. That's a whole nother criteria. If you're just a religious, like I'm a Christian who's Jewish who wants to move there, and, it's kind of like moving to America. Why are you moving here? Are you applying for a work visa? Are you like, what are you applying for? There's some of that matters too. Yeah. I was thinking of Joel though, as a great example. I think he's got a nonprofit there, was able to, kind of work under that. And it was not a very difficult, I don't know, I'll have to ask him, but I don't think it was a huge process like other people we both know that have had a hard time getting access.
Right.
Connections.
Yeah. Connections. I mean, obviously Joel worked for the government at a certain point too, so it might have been a little easier for him.
Yep, and you can find out more about Joel on his website, joelrosenberg.com. You can get lots of information about what's going on in Israel. He's got a website set up that's got news on it, and you can link to that from joelrosenberg.com, and even find out about his TV show that he has on TBN, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, joelrosenberg.com. Daniel, thanks for calling us today on Pastor's Perspective. And now, here's Judah calling from Southern California. Hi there, Judah.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
How can we help you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Why did Jesus come to the earth, sir?
Why did Jesus come to the earth? Bobby Conway, what do you tell Judah?
Judah, I would say it's great that you're using sir, and we welcome that, but you don't have to use it 5 times. You can say sir once, and we respect that. So thank you for the courage it took for you to call up and ask that question. You're 8 years old, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is going to be a tough one right here, huh? Okay. No problem.
He's been trained.
He has been trained, yes. You would make a good little military dude someday. In boot camp, man, you've got that down. So, listen,
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Judah,
sir.
you bet, little buddy. There's a lot of reasons why Jesus came to earth. Number one, to destroy the works of the devil, to reconcile us, to unite us back to God, so that our sins could be forgiven, so that our guilt could be taken away, so that our shame could be eliminated, so that we could experience our identity, that is who we are through him, so that we could discover purpose in life, so that we could give his message to others. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You know, Judah, you're going to open up some gifts, we hope, on Christmas. And as you open those gifts up, there'll come a moment where you're done opening the gifts. But when it comes to Christmas, it's the gift that keeps on giving. You never stop unwrapping this Christmas gift because it is something that is so big and there's so many beautiful things to worship God for. And so that's what I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Does this help you?
You bet.
Yes, sir.
Now, Judah, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What would you say is the reason why Jesus came to the earth?
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to rephrase the question?
No, I think he's thinking about it.
Because the earth was getting too worse for the good people. Like, I think like thousands and thousands of people were getting killed and and stuff getting stolen, and
lots of sin in the world, right?
Yeah, there's a sin in the world.
Yeah.
That will keep on going forever.
Yeah.
Sir.
And sin wrecks everything. God made a world that he wanted to be a beautiful world, and he made people that he wanted to have a beautiful relationship with, and then sin came and just kind of made a gigantic mess out of it all, right?
Yeah, and like sin's like a tree that's growing, and when you eat the fruit, you'll become unclean.
Yeah. And so Jesus came to take all of that away, to reverse that, right?
And then he's like Jesus is like planting a seed in the garden.
Yeah.
And it's the tree of life, but not good and evil.
Yeah.
And when you eat it, you start believing in God and do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, Jesus plants the seed of his word in our hearts that blossoms into the life, the new life that God gives us. Wow, that's great. So you're really thinking about this stuff. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for calling us today, Judah.
You're welcome, sir.
Right.
Okay, God bless you, buddy.
Bye, Judah.
Please call again. What a great question that was. Great conversation on Pastor's perspective. Phil, are you blown away, Phil Metzger?
Yes. I mean,
Yes, sir.
First of all, these guys kept on making questions that made him say "sir." So I think there's something to that. They kept setting the ball up there on the tee. But
That's right.
Of course I'm blown away. What a gift, man. I pray that for my grandkids that are not there. You know, my oldest is 6. I want them to. I mean, what a heart for the Lord, and what a great thing. I hope he just keeps on growing in that.
Love it.
Brian, I sent you another image, Broderson, for you, because I felt like Brian Perez was left out, so I did.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You know what's funny is, hold on, before, I'm closing my eyes right now because I don't want to see this, but when you guys were all sharing all your pictures, I was like, you know what? I don't even know how to make one of these things, so I'm not going to, but it sounds like the king of AI, Phil Metzger, has made one, so now I will open my eyes and look at it.
Solve the problem.
There we go.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, that is so great. That is Brian, you need to use that as an emoji. That's great.
Oh, yes. Yes, for sure. All right. Send that my way.
There it is.
I think it's a great photo.
That is wonderful.
I know. That's classic.
Good job. I'm going to forward this to Brian, and this is going to be his new identity.
Oh, yes. I'm going to put that everywhere.
I'll send it over to you so you can see it.
Oh, man. Good job, I must say. Good job. Lori in Southern California, welcome to Pastor's Perspective.
Hi, I'm really enjoying this afternoon's little show. I think everyone should have a little Judah in their life. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I know. And
that's right.
Gosh. Anyways, there was a caller last hour that had said he had led someone to the Lord and wanted to know if he could baptize them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so I have a two-part question. I'm a Christian. Do you have to be baptized in order to get to heaven? That's the first question. And then the second part of my question is, my husband was not a believer, but he always, he would listen to me, and every once in a while he would ask questions. And then he had passed away about 3.5 years ago, and about the last week, he was in the hospital, but he could understand, but he couldn't speak or anything like that. And they let me come in and see him, which was amazing because it was April, the first year of COVID. They called and said I could come in and see him. And so I was able to lead him to the Lord. I was talking to him like he was about 5 years old, so he would understand me. And I felt a presence in the room, and I knew it was real. Even to this day, when I talk about it, I still get goosebumps. So I know that I did, but I didn't even think about doing the baptizing. And I just was like, so it goes back to my first question. Do you have to be baptized if you've believed, but to get into heaven?
Yeah. No.
Because I know there's a lot of people on their deathbed that, confess their sins, but they don't have time to get baptized.
Nope. You don't have to be baptized. Right. Baptism is, it's a discipleship statement, basically. It's a public confession of a person who has received Christ. So we receive Christ. There's an invisible transaction that takes place that isn't seen. It begins to show itself in our lives as we go on, of course. But baptism is our way of publicly making the statement to others that we have, we've given our lives to Jesus. But there's no, we do not believe in what's called baptismal regeneration. We do not believe that baptism is necessary for salvation because the Bible doesn't teach it. You remember when Jesus was crucified, there were two men on the cross with him. One man disbelieves, says, if you're the Messiah, come down and save yourself and save us. The other believes. He says, Lord, when you enter your kingdom, remember me. Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. So there's no baptism involved there. He's just simply believed in Jesus. So you can rest that your husband, his faith in Jesus was sufficient for his salvation.
Yes, I believe that, but I just wanted to ask and just make sure. But I do. I believe it 1,000 million trillion %.
Yes. Well, good.
And also, Dr. Bobby, I just wanted to let you know that I also have a little dog named Winston, who's the cutest thing on the face of the earth. So,
but is Winston a bulldog?
Boy.
No, he's a little mixed terrier.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. But,
well, that's great because I find myself counting down the days to his termination. He has been absolutely hellion around the house, and it is unbelievable.
You are now cut off the program. I'm sorry.
Lori is now, Bobby, she's not going to listen to anything you say from this point forward.
Yeah, he's a monster.
I know, right?
He's a total monster right now.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, like he's getting older and he's really becoming a real jerk. And
How old is he now?
He's so cute. He's like 6, but you know,
He's 11.
he's so cute. But all I feel like the dog does is boss me around. So if I try to sit in the family room, he starts demanding. If I sit outside, he barks the door. Then when I let him out, then he goes and barks to be let back in. And I just feel like he's playing all these mind games with me. And I told my wife, there's a lot of emotional taxation to our life that we're going through. And he ruins, like if you could see a picture of our house, like, okay, for example, every time we have people over, we have to go and check him in because he doesn't know how to be with people. When you let him out in the yard, he thinks he's a real estate mogul because he's lived in a lot of different places. So he starts hijacking everybody's peace by barking at them. And then in the house, we have to put sticks and laundry baskets all over all the furniture so that he doesn't get on it, because we've had to go through, I think, 3 or 4 couches at his expense.
Whoa.
Wow.
So yeah. In the first year we bought him, there was $4,000 of medical bills. So, I mean, I love but I guess I have a mixed relationship with him, right?
Yeah.
He's just not as he's really tough.
Sounds like a
He
little
is really wearing me out.
PTSD.
Well,
Could be.
he knows.
Yes.
He knows you.
Yeah, I think he's got trauma.
Yeah.
He knows what, Lori?
I said he knows you love him.
Yeah, I'm not sure he does, but
Hey, well, let me just say, Bobby.
no, I do love him.
Bobby, my grandson's little French bulldog, Count, developed epilepsy and died the day after Thanksgiving, a year and a half old.
Oh.
And this has been a deep crisis for us. So just know that as big of a pain as Winston is, you're going to cry when he goes. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Be ready for it.
I mean, I hurt when we lost our last dog, Esther. But you know, this dog is so cute. But boy, he drives me crazy.
Well,
But I do love him. I'll go down and give him a rub because I feel bad now.
we just lost our sponsorship from the Humane Society. So, oh well. Phil Metzger, how's Potato doing?
Potato's doing great. Yeah. Potato's great. He is
Potato.
yeah.
I love
What do you
that
say?
name.
That's the best dog
I
name
know.
of all time.
And he just looks like a little spud. It's just perfect, man. I call him he's a little spud. Lord von Krumpley is his name in Hungarian. He's got it all, man. This guy's a king.
Lord von Krimpley. Yeah. And Brian's got what, Count Zinzendorf? I mean, what's is that the name of the dog, Count?
Count Dracula, actually. Yes.
Okay, Count Dracula, not Count von
He
Zinzendorf.
was a black French bulldog. Yeah. Cute. I
Okay.
mean, ugliest. You know, bulldogs are the ugliest and cutest dogs simultaneously. They have this way of, I mean, they're just as ugly as anything. He looked like, I would always think like if we just could put some wings on him, he's a bat. He could just be flying around and he's just like a bat. He has a bat face.
Like a big bat.
Like,
Yeah, but he's
oh
gone.
my word.
Count has gone to heaven. So we're just, we're getting over it. There's a kitty coming.
Yeah.
A kitty?
A kitty.
Yeah.
Oh, a kitty for Christmas.
Yes.
Heather wants a pig.
A pig, yeah. Pigs are cool. I think you should get a pig.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think she really wants them, but she loves pigs and donkeys. She just feels like they're helpless looking, and for whatever reason, she just collects all these videos of donkeys.
Have you seen some of these? Have you seen some of these videos of pigs like hanging out with dogs and like they're doing everything the dog's doing? They're just
They got like bromance
smart.
going.
yeah, they're smart as heck.
The dog. Yeah, they are smart.
Yeah.
Damn.
This program has literally gone to the dogs.
Or the pigs.
Or the pigs, or
Litter.
the donkeys.
Yeah.
Literally. Yes. All right. Well, I think we're out of time.
I hope so.
Yeah, we're just trying to burn the final moments together.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
we
that-
should be out of time.
Yes,
Let's
it's
put
that
it that way.
awkward moment when the music hasn't started yet. And do we
dogs
take
go to
another
heaven?
question? Do we take a Facebook question? But I hear the music.
There it is.
There it is. Yay!
It is.
Saved by the music. All right, so we are out of time for today's program, but we'll be doing another one soon, and we welcome you to call us then. Sorry that we couldn't get to all of your calls today, but thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching as well on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to click the little bell icon on our YouTube channels, and then that way you can get notified every time we do something new, including on Bobby Conway's Christianity Still Makes Sense YouTube channel. So thank you all for joining us today. For Brian Broderson, Bobby Conway, Phil Metzger, and all their pets, I'm Brian Perez, and Pastor's Perspective was sponsored by Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa.